It is a new week, and you are welcome to News by 256, where we bring you the latest stories and occurrences. And these are the news highlights for today. Pope Francis prays for peace in DRC Congo and South Sudan. East African leaders call for immediate ceasefire in East DRC Congo. And Senegal wins Chan on penalty shootout. These are the news in detail. During his last mass in South Sudan on Sunday, Pope Francis urged people of South Sudan to lay down their weapon of hatred in a quest to bring about peace in the war-torn country. Let us lay down the weapons of hatred and revenge. Let us overcome the dislikes and aversions that over time have become chronic and risk pitting tribes and ethnic groups against one another, he said. A mammoth crowd of believers flocked to the John Garang Mausoleum in the capital Juba to see the Holy Father, who has made peace and reconciliation the theme of his 3-day trip to the world's newest nation. People waved national flags and sang "Welcome Holy Father" to South Sudan as the Argentine pontiff moved through the crowds in his Pope mobile before delivering the mass to an audience local authorities put at around 70,000. This is the first time of Pope Francis visiting South Sudan since it attained independence in 2011 from the main Muslim Sudan, and since then they have been in civil war that has claimed nearly 40,000 people. Despite the fact that a peace agreement was signed in 2018 between President Salva Kiir and his deputy Riek Machar, many of its conditions remain unmet and violence continues to roil the country, driving people from their homes seeking for refuge in nearby countries. East African leaders met on Saturday in Burundi to discuss a way forward of ending the unrest in eastern DRC Congo. The seven nations of the East African Community called for an immediate ceasefire between the fighting parties and also withdrawal of all armed groups, including foreigners, according to the statement issued after the summit. A resurgent rebel group known as the M23 has taken swathes of land in the mineral-rich East, and fighting is continuing despite a peace roadmap hammered out in the Angolan capital in July last year and the deployment of an EAC force in November. The heads of state also emphasized dialogue among all parties and directed army chiefs to meet within a week to set timeline for the withdrawal. It should be noted that DRC Congo has been accusing Rwanda of backing the M23 rebels and facilitating them with firearms to destabilize the mineral-rich country. In attendance in Burundi's lakeside economic hub of Bujumbura were DRC President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame of Rwanda. In a statement ahead of the summit, the Congolese presidency had called for the EAC force to be made more offensive to tackle the rebels. It protested that despite the terms of the Luanda roadmap, the M23 and its allies had not withdrawn but rather expanded their areas of occupation. Kagame's visit, his first to Burundi since 2013, also suggested some reconciliation between the Great Lakes neighbors whose relations have long been frosty. Now, Senegal completed a double when it beat host Algeria 5-4 on penalties after a 0-0 draw to win the African Nations Championship CHAN final on Saturday. The victory marked Senegal's first ever CHAN trophy just a year after winning the Africa Cup of Nations title. Despite the disappointment of losing on home soil, fans of the Desert Fox, who were present at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in the southern suburbs of Algiers, cheered on the players as they made it to the CHAN final for the first time. This is what we have for you today. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe to get the latest news stories on News by 256.